Travis.
What?
Test.
Man,
you're in a bad mood.
No, I'm never in a bad mood.
Yeah. Nah, he's not. Hey, guys, welcome back to the show. It's Titus and Travis. Today we are going to be doing some talking about picking out a shotgun for duck hunting. Before we get any farther into this, I need to say, I don't do this until the end, and it's always way too late. I want to ask you guys if you would do me a huge favor. If you get something out of this podcast, if you enjoy this podcast, if you hate this podcast, do us a favor. If you listen on iTunes, go on there right now, please. Give us a rating and review. We really went stagnant on kind of our ratings and reviews. There's not much action going on there, and that's just because I don't ever say anything about it and people don't think about it. So if you're a new listener and you get something out of this, or you've been listening for a while and haven't done it and you're on iTunes, go on, please give us 5 stars and give us a review on there. Tell us what you think, your thoughts.
Or give you 1 star.
Or give us 1 star and tell us how we can improve, how we can do better. I mean, honestly, I'm used to the YouTube world and people will say how it is. We have thick skin here, so just let us know what you think. Give us ideas. If you have some ideas on topics you would like us to talk about and cover, maybe you're a new waterfowler or whatever, give us those ideas and topics. We'll talk about them. Travis has a lot of experience. He can give us a lot of knowledge and wisdom.
Oh, yeah, just volumes. Straight, yeah, whatever.
So now that we got that out of the way, I just want to give a big shout out to Yukonuba for basically working with us and feeding Rocky for the last probably about a year now, getting close to a year. And also to Heavy Shot, and those guys giving us some ammo and been out patterning, doing some videos. If you guys want to watch that kind of stuff, go to YouTube, Mid Valley Mercenaries. We have a YouTube channel. And last but not least, Old Town. They make kayaks, canoes, fishing, hunting, duck hunting, they make everything, saltwater. They do all kinds of stuff. You guys really should go check them out, and they worked with us and hooked us up with in the past too. So, and we'll be having him on talking about some sea duck hunting soon. We got to get hooked up. We're both been busy. So anyways, that being said, let's get into this. So Travis asked me first, what was my first shotgun? And I said, and we talked about it, his brother-in-law, Richie Rodriguez, I started going with Travis when I was about 15, and I liked it. I'm sure I borrowed somebody's, or maybe you let me borrow one of yours or whatever. Do you remember?
I don't remember the first time that we went. I
I
don't even know what gun that.
Do you remember? Do you remember having a big old bag of Jack in the Box tacos?
I remember specifically
kind of that.
Pulling up to your house, and having that bag of tacos, and I think I waited out there for a little bit for you to come out. I was like, is this guy coming out or not? Did he sleep in?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to wake up his whole family to get him to come to the door like, hey, can he go duck hunting still, you know, at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, people don't really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I always had a hard time getting people to go duck hunting with me for years. I mean, I would ask everybody and their brother for a long time. I hunted solo, and my mom hated it. I would drive out to the refuges in fog, drive home. You know how tired you are when you're coming home from duck hunting by myself. And my dad wasn't a duck hunter at the time. Mm-hmm. And you have to have, waders and stuff like that. My dad didn't have waders, so he didn't really duck hunt with me. I mean, we went deer hunting and stuff like that, but no, I remember specifically pulling up to your house, and it's funny, like looking back what we used then and how things have changed to now, and just that sort of thing.
So you just don't remember the hunt?
I don't remember if we killed a single bird.
I honestly, God, don't remember.
But I do remember pulling up to your house and having tacos, and
we talk about that a lot.
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, I always bring that up.
No sauce, gotta have ketchup.
And I remember that because I thought, okay, I'm down with this. I'm 15. I'll eat some nasty Jack in the Box greasy tacos at 2:30 in the morning.
They must have been open at 24 hours. I don't know.
You must have really had an impression on me to remember that, because I have the worst memory, basically. But anyways, I guess from what I remember, me and Richie bought our gun about the same time. He doesn't duck hunt. I think he might be getting into it soon with his son. He was telling me about it. He's really wanting to go. But anyways, I believe it was a Remington 1100. I'm almost positive that's what it was. And semi and black. I bought straight black because it was cheap. And I was young and I just needed a gun. I don't know how low. I might have been 17, 18.
Yeah, I actually bought that gun off of Richie later
His
on,
gun.
and it was only a 2 3/4 inch gun. But I shot it.
And I remember
I
only
shot it
shooting
for
2
quite a
3/4.
while. I shot it for quite a while.
Did you buy it because you needed a gun, or you just bought it just to buy it?
No, because I had well, talk about my first gun. My first gun that I ever had, my uncle bought it for me. I passed the hunter safety course when I was 9, and he told me if I passed it, he would buy me a shotgun.
Oh, really?
And take me duck hunting. And so I remember I was 9 years old. I passed it, and he bought me a single shot 20 gauge. I can't remember the name of the company. I want to say HR or something like that. Maybe Harrison Richardson, something like that. And I remember specifically the first time I shot it, we were out. There was a rice field.
You said it was a 410?
No, it was a 20 gauge.
Oh, it was a 20 gauge. Okay, single shot.
Yeah, there was the field by where I grew up, and it was dove season, right before duck season. And I went out there, and I hadn't really shot a shotgun before that. The first shot knocked me flatter than a pancake right on my hind end. And that little 20 gauge, that thing kicked like a mule, man. There was hard plastic, no like soft butt pad or anything like that. That thing kicked like a dog, man. That thing hurt. And I shot it. And but that was my first duck gun. And I don't think I ever killed a single duck with that gun.
Really?
I went several times with my uncle duck hunting, and I remember one time specifically we're out there, and he had bought a Mossberg shotgun, and this was back. I think Mossberg was owned by somebody else at the time, and they weren't I don't think the best guns. It was a brand new gun, and it jammed on him, and he was taking all the bull rushes and toolies and trying to shove them down there and knock the shell out. Couldn't get it out, jammed it all up. I mean, it probably had, if you'd shot it, blew it to pieces. And I let him borrow my 20 gauge. And I remember he said, I'm going to go walk over here, stay right here. And 4 shovelers came in perfectly right over my head. And I still remember being 9 years old. I remember just that, that indelible impression on you. I remember they came from me. I remember the refuge where we were at. And I had went a couple times before that with him, I think. Or one time before that, but we didn't kill any birds. I don't ever remember him killing any birds when I duck hunted with him. You know what I'm saying? I was 9 years old. Man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
you have a pretty good memory too. That's the thing.
I remember my cousin Eddie went with us. He shot a bird. I think it was a shoveler. It dove down and grabbed a weed. They looked and looked forever for that. I didn't even have waders. I think I sit on the bank or something. I don't remember. I had my little 20 gauge shotgun. I never killed a bird, but the one time I could have killed a bird, they flew over me. Or I think I could have killed them. I don't know. I would have probably missed. But yeah, they went right over me and they landed, and then they took off. And I was like, he came back. I was like, I could have shot 4 birds. He goes, I didn't see anything where I was at. So that was my first shotgun, 20 gauge. I don't think I ever killed a single thing with it. But I had that gun a long time.
Did you know mine got stolen off me? That's how I lost my first gun, my first shotgun.
Oh, really?
I've had guns before that, but that was my first gun. But it was my first shotgun.
Oh, okay.
And it got stolen out of my house with like $800. I had like $800 in cash buried somewhere in one of our drawers, like my wife's drawer. They somehow found that and took a shotgun and a 22, stole it right out of my house. I was sick. Yeah, it was a bummer, but. Anyways, that being said, the how we picked out a shotgun then is a lot different than how we'd pick out a shotgun now, correct?
Yeah.
And so
we didn't have wives then either, so.
Yeah. Well, but really though, like at 15 years old, I'm looking for a cheap deal. And there might be some about you guys out there that are young. Maybe you're in high school, just got in high school. Maybe you're even younger than that, maybe 10, 12, 13, whatever. I don't know. You guys are going to be looking at, so for you guys to pick out a shotgun would be, I would say that, obviously price is the biggest factor of all. I mean, you're going in there.
And it could be different than, what I'm saying, especially maybe if you didn't come from a duck hunting background or you're just getting into it, you tell your parents like, hey, there's somebody that's willing to mentor you, take you out. It's going to differ than somebody that's been hunting like for years. What kind of shotgun you're going to pick out,
So let's start there. Let's start. Again, guys, we're trying to keep these a little bit shorter, but do more of them. So let's start there. Let's just pretend we were 12 years old. We want a shotgun. We want our first shotgun. What are we looking for in it? Obviously, price. We're going to say price. So let's keep it down there.
I say Remington 870 all day long.
Can't go wrong. Now, how much are those running right now? Or can you get those new still, or do you have to buy those used?
No, you can. They still make them,
right?
I think it's the one that sold more shotguns than any shotgun that's ever been made is 870.
And dude, they're they're classic, but they're also so reliable.
They're indestructible.
They are, literally.
I got my first one when I was 16, my 870.
Is that what you got?
And telling my son he's 19. That's scary.
That's the one?
Talon still shoots it.
That's the one you bought when you're 19?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No, I got it when I was 16 for my birthday
present.
present.
16. Wow.
And he still shoots it.
And you're 47?
I'm 47.
Wow. 31 years, dude. And that thing is deadly,
Yeah.
just as it always was, and it functions perfectly fine.
It's weird, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about different shotguns to the gun I have now. I picked that thing up. It feels like picking up a log.
Oh, literally.
But reliable as the day is long.
And that's what you need as a younger person. Maybe you don't know how to clean it as good. You know, you're still learning how to clean. You can get away with not doing a perfect clean on that gun.
Yeah,
you know,
Christmas, your birthday. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's a perfect gun to tell your parents, hey.
What are those running? Let me look it up while you talk a little bit more about that gun.
I'd say
It's a pump.
Yeah, it's a pump.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being a newer hunter too, you don't need a semi-automatic because sometimes younger people can almost. I've seen people shoot a second shell because of the kick of the first.
Yeah.
Kind of more like a like
reaction. Yeah.
I've seen that happen, which is dangerous.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
so to have a pump that creates what to
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to pump it to put the next shell in there, of course, right? But a very reliable gun. A lot of the guns now have interchangeable chokes. Mine had just basically a modified barrel that was on there, but I killed a lot of birds with that gun. To be honest with you,
All right, guys. For a Remington Model 870 Express pump action shotgun with hardwood stock, which is basically what you have.
That's what I had right there.
$329.
Yeah,
$329. I don't think you can get a cheaper gun and better gun than that right there if you're starting out.
Yeah.
Whether you're 12 or you're 30 and you're starting out, if you're just getting into shotgunning and duck hunting, that's the ticket right there.
Killed
man.
a lot.
And you'll
of birds
never
with
sell that gun.
Huh?
You'll never sell that gun.
No.
You may upgrade and get a semi later down the road, but you'll never sell that gun.
Yeah.
Good for turkey hunting. Good for just going out and shooting clays and targets for the fun of it.
Clays,
Doves.
whatever you want.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So
That was my second gun.
that was your second gun. Okay. So you had a single shot. Then you moved on to 870.
Yep.
Now, I ended up getting a TriStar over and under. Now, that is definitely not a traditional duck gun. It was made in duck camo. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with that gun.
Why did you want that gun? Because I remember when you bought it, I was like, why did you buy it over and under?
And I know you don't, you want 3 shells. I wanted it. One thing was because it was cheap.
Yeah.
And the other was I've always, as a kid, liked over and unders.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't the traditional thing for duck hunting, honestly. I did save a lot of shells. A lot. Because I could never take that third shot. Now, reality, I would not suggest on here picking out a waterfowl, a shotgun for duck hunting for anybody out there listening. I would not choose to get a over and under at all. I'm not saying it would be wrong if you did it. A lot of guys will do it now to be more of a challenge or just, whatever. I've seen guys talk about doing that, and it's cool. I would kind of like to get another one again.
Nostalgia of it.
Yeah, exactly. I like over and unders, honestly, I do, but I couldn't hit nothing with that. What had happened is it fell over one time, and it bent the bead completely over the side, and I was too stinking lazy to change it. And once that happened, it's not like I was a really good shooter then, but I really couldn't hit nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like my second one.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, again, I believe it was only 2 3/4. And I did okay, shooting with it, but it was definitely, when I bought that Browning A5, my shooting accuracy went up a lot.
What was funny, like, for 20, 30 years, I only shot 2 3/4 inch shells.
Yeah.
I never
remember
shot
you
3 inch
making
shells.
fun of me before? Because I think you switched to 3. You weren't making fun of me, but you were like, why are you shooting those 2 3/4? Probably because you were used to starting out shooting 3s, and you were thinking like, hey, man, just shoot 3s. And I was like,
well,
I'm gonna
I don't
shoot
even
2
know why I
3/4.
even started shooting 3s. I mean, it's been so long ago. I shot 2 3/4 for years. The 870 that I had was a 3-inch gun. And then I ended up buying that gun off Richie, that 1100, the same one that you had purchased. And that was only a 2 3/4 inch gun. I shot that for years. And I don't even remember when I started going to 3-inch shells, to be honest with you, because those were the 3 shotguns that I had.
I know, it was all sun.
And then all of a sudden I switched to 3-inch.
Because whatever I did was
shells.
just copying what you did. So
Yeah.
there was a reason why I was shooting 2
And there was no
3/4.
rhyme or reason why like I purchased any shells. I was like, oh, these are still shot, the cheapest shells
That's
that
probably
they
the only
have.
reason
and
why
that's,
you
and
did
that's
that.
why I bought them. Yeah.
So we've talked about getting your first gun. That's just an opinion. That's just a suggestion. If whether you're 12 or you're 30 getting into duck hunting, you want it for a shotgun. You guys, you can't go wrong. It's not. Do you think it's hard to clean?
The only thing hard about 870, like I still every once in a while will clean the 870 that I have, and I always have to remember how to set the I don't even know what you call it, the where the firing pin mechanism.
Yeah.
That there's like a block thing, and you got to set it on the rails, and then there's a little lever on the inside to put your finger in there and kind of push them both at the same time to get the rails to slide in there.
Yeah.
And I always hate doing that, and so when I do clean that gun, I always have to look up a YouTube video like how do I get it back together, because I'm always afraid I'm gonna put on there wrong.
You nailed it. That's where I was going to go with this. Okay, if you ever have a shotgun, you don't know how to clean it. There is a YouTube video. Out there, how to
there
do
was
it.
no YouTube when I
No.
was younger. You know?
But
So-
now, you guys, you have any issues with it? Don't clean your gun because you don't know how to do it. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Trust me,
Yeah.
guaranteed. So now you're advancing a little bit because we didn't really give no reasons except price and reliability for your first shotgun. But let's move a little bit more. I can say something first, and you can say how you picked out yours. But I ended up going. I wanted it for a couple years. I remember in Afghanistan when I was there, I was like, when I get back, I'm getting the shotgun and so that really wasn't that long ago, Like I've only had that gun for 6 years. Other than that, I was shooting that over and under for a long time, and then that semi Remington 1100, and I said I'm getting that because that advertisement was out. Come hell or high water, the guy was coming out of the water with the A5. I was like, dude, I love that. And the reason I like that so much,
Advertising's huge.
well, it is.
It's huge.
But I'll tell you why I like that one, because of humpback.
Did your dad have a humpback?
My dad had an A500R, nice pristine walnut black, like a nice, like almost a trap gun / maybe pheasant hunting gun. And I always remember throwing that up as a kid, thinking, man, this thing is like light. That gun is so light compared to, like you said, Remington 1100 or 870. Yeah. And I would throw it up even as a young guy, and I was like, man, this thing is. I was always wanting him to give that gun to me. But when I seen this, I was like, that's like the same style. It's the humpback, And when I got home, I went in stores, tried all these guns out, and that's what you need to do. If you're gonna pick a shotgun out, you want to get it. You want to advance. Huge, is shoulder it. Big mistake, in my opinion, to online shop and never throw the gun up to your shoulder. And I think anybody with any experience would agree with that. You really got to put the gun in your hand because there's a lot of factors that come into it, right?
Yeah.
You grab it. Let's just say you grab the gun right off the bat, okay? Right then you have a feel of it. What you might feel could be, man, the foregrip on this is really fat. My hands are smaller. Or maybe it's really thin. I don't like that. My hands are big. These are things you're feeling right off the bat. Okay, down here where I grip it down by the trigger, the safety is right here. I don't really like that. It's on top. Maybe it's underneath by the trigger well. These are things you need to put your hands on. You need to see what's comfortable for you. And then, to me, my next biggest thing, and I even did a video on this recently, is shouldering it. I've thrown shotguns up. They feel front heavy. I hate that.
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't fit me.
It's not balanced for you.
It has to fit you.
Yeah.
And everybody's make is different. Everybody's length of arms are different. Their hand sizes are different. The way their arms are versus where their shoulder and how that all comes together, that's all different. And I've thrown guns up and like, man, that's a bad looking gun, man. That thing's camoed out and blah, blah, blah. I want this gun. You throw it up, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I remember a gun that recently I did that too. Like, it's like, it had really cool features on it. Look at it in magazines. And the moment I picked that gun up and shouldered, I was like, I would never buy that gun.
Yeah, but you never knew that until.
If I just went off, the initial whatever, the features of it, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's a cool gun. I'll take that gun all day long. But when I actually felt it, it's not a gun that I think would have worked for me.
Yeah. There's several guns up. And then my biggest thing is when this is huge. This is really, because we said it's reliability and dependability and price for an 870, and it is, because you don't really know what you're looking for when you're brand new. But as you adjust and get better shooting, you're going to realize I want a gun to when I throw my head down to shoot the bead, I'm looking right down the bead. And if you are getting a gun that you have to lay your head over sideways or raise your head up off the stock, the butt stock, to be looking flush right down the rib of the gun, that gun's not for you. If you really want that gun, there is things you can do to adjust that.
Shims and stuff like that.
Shims and this and that.
yeah.
You can do those kind of things. But, man, you just know. When you throw a gun up on your shoulder, you're like, this is it. This is the one, you know, like. And then from there, you adjust on how good you shoot and stuff, you know. But that was huge. Is how I like the way, I don't know if it's the way my face and stuff is, but I always liked that raised humpback of the A5 because I could just, boom, my head's right there looking down it. What gun do you have now, you know, and how'd you pick it out?
I didn't pick out my gun necessarily.
Did you want it, though?
But I wanted it really bad.
Okay. Did you ever shoulder it?
Before I got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did. I believe so. It's been a while.
Yeah.
A long time.
Probably, what, 13 years?
Yeah, maybe. But the thing that got me with that was the marketing.
Okay.
Totally watching
saying
videos. Yeah, the softest shooting, fastest cycling, most reliable. You know, the Benelli Vinci. You know, and they had it like the advertising got me. I'm saying they got like all sleek, this new design and stuff like that, and it was totally different than any other gun at the time that came out. How it looked too, something totally different.
Yeah, right. It was.
Yeah, it was like a revolutionary thing.
Yeah.
You know, and the inertia system. And so that's what really, like, you know, I was like, if I could buy a gun, that'd be the gun.
So it was marketing.
It was marketing that got me. Yeah. And then, you know, my mom ended up buying the gun for me as a surprise, and which was a surprise. And
yeah, big surprise.
Yeah. But I mean, I love the gun. I still like it. As it has a couple issues. Yeah. The Benelli click, I've had that a couple times.
We'll explain that just in case somebody doesn't know.
Sometimes with certain rounds, you'll pull up, and it could be the type of shells. I will say I've never had a heavy shot shell do that.
You haven't?
No.
Okay.
But I've had you know, different company shells do that where you get the click where nothing happens.
Yeah. But is it the gun though, or is it the shell?
You know, I don't know, and it could be not having the bolt all the way forward.
Yeah.
Different things can affect, you know, different things. But I have had that click, and you're like, oh, bad shell or whatever.
And you really don't know, because sometimes there is bad shells.
Yeah, sometimes there is bad shells.
But the term is Benelli click because hundreds of people
have
thousands
had that happen. Yeah,
have had it happen. So
that, and the only other issue I've really had with it is that the safety on mine, sometimes it will not go on safety. It'll stay off safety, and there's nothing you can do. You can push as hard as you can, try to move it, it won't move. And I don't know. I think maybe some of the system, sometimes you'll get like a little burned powder residue. They'll actually be down into the trigger guard.
Yeah.
And I think it gets it in there and maybe jams up the safety a little bit.
And then all of a sudden it starts working?
Then it'll start working. Yeah. But I've had it jam in the field and then start working in the same thing. But so I don't know if it, you know what I'm saying, it gets loose. It gets started loose when you fire it. But the gun's light. I like the way it shoulders.
Yeah.
I've had no issues with it. You know, and then, you know, maybe you could talk about, like, is there a gun like that you see right now that you're like, well, maybe you already have it, but is there any gun out there right now that you're like, hey, I'd love to have that gun? You know what I'm saying? As a waterfowl gun.
Well, people were really shocked that I bought the Franke. They were like, why'd you buy that gun? Do you not like your A5 no more? And I go, hold on. This is a 20 gauge. Now, I don't know if I'm kind of like a one-man, like a one-gun show kind of guy. I feel like I kind of am. Like, you know, like a one-man dog, you know, they have those.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like that.
Benelli until it falls apart.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you want to switch 12 gauges every time you go out in the field just to switch
I don't.
them? I personally don't. I really don't know guys that even do that much. I know there is guys that do that. I'm not saying there's not people out there that do that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. Because it's the same difference of me going from a 12 gauge to a 20.
It's whatever you prefer, you know?
I was just like, I shoot my 12 for the majority of the time, but every once in a while it's like, I might be going to a good spot, and I know, and I'm like, I kind of want to shoot a 20 gauge. And so what happened, you're asking, like, what would cause that? Jake had left his gun over here, I think because I had the shot cam on it, and I didn't have the dill to take it off. So he's like, just leave it, and I'll pull the footage from it. So he left his shotgun over here. It would end up being here for like a month. This was after season. Don't ask me why I did this because I'm completely happy with my Browning A5. But I was looking for a 20 gauge. I would throw his gun up. It was a 12. It was the Franchi Affinity. I don't even think it was the Elite.
Oh, okay.
Well, it wasn't the Elite. It was the Franchi Affinity. But Barney, all these guys raved how much they liked that gun. But those guys haven't been really hunting that long. So I was like, not that I wasn't taking their word for it, but it was just like,
yeah.
you know, I'm so happy with my Browning 5. But I was like, man, I do want a 20 gauge. So I kept throwing his gun up, and I was like, man, this fits really good. And it's not a humpback style, but it was light. The foregrip was narrow. I liked that. Just everything about it. I kept throwing it up. I throw it up like every once in a while, and the more I throw it up, the more I liked it. And I was like, dude, I think I'm going to get this in the timber pattern. Well, actually, I really wanted the marsh pattern with the Cerakoting, but they were said, oh, we don't have them for 6 months. Like, I called actually Franchi. Like, we're not getting it for a long time. This is the beginning of the season. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to get it. I'm going to get the 20 gauge timber, 26-inch barrel. I love that gun. I've hunted it with it about 4 times, so it's not a lot. So I haven't put it through the test. How's it going to handle? But Jake and Barney and whoever else bought those guns.
Yeah.
But that's how it started. I just kept shouldering. I was like, man, this thing, for not being I'm like, kind of felt like it has to be a humpback for me because I just, the way my head position is. I like it. It's the Elite, so it's the Franchi Affinity 3-inch Elite.
Oh, okay.
And man, it just, the sight on that, I found those sights, Travis. They're like $6-7. I think I'm gonna put on my Browning.
Which ones are those?
Those ones that you said in the video. You commented, where can we get those?
Okay.
But those are for sale. They're the True Glow sights, man, because it's got the fluorescent like greenish on the outside and then the glowing orange on the inside. Man, and just you pick up targets so quick.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of what happened for me, and I really like that gun a lot. But you know, I'd like to get a 28 gauge. I just don't feel like, do I want multiple 12 gauges? I'm the kind of guy, I can't have enough shotguns, but I'm kind of true to my one 12 gauge.
That's your go-to gun.
It's like my go-to gun. I'm confident with it. Trust me, I have looked at because everyone was like, some people were like, why didn't you get the Franchi Affinity Elite 12 gauge? I'm like, I have a 12 gauge.
Yeah.
Now, is it wrong for me to get another one? No, I just don't feel like I don't have a desire. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. I haven't really looked at shotguns lately. I'm saying
because you don't.
It's like I don't need it.
Well, you do now though, right? You need to look.
Well, I don't know.
He had some issues, guys, with this shotgun on that last video we did.
It was really weird.
It was blowing his choke out the front end. I think you just need a new barrel.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to buy a factory modified choke, which is what I've always shot.
Oh, you're gonna put a factory in?
Yeah, because I did put a improved cylinder factory choke back in there, and it never came out. We talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, went out there and my choke was totally gone out of my gun. I don't know where it went, what happened.
I seen it in the video. It shot out.
No, that was. I mean, before that, before I bought that aftermarket choke, and I don't know what happened. And then the next weekend I put in that improved cylinder, and I felt like I didn't. When you don't have confidence in your gun, it's amazing how it'll affect your shooting.
That's horrible.
And I had that improved cylinder, and I was like, I don't like this choke. And I thought that before I went out there, and I didn't shoot very well. I killed a couple birds, but I never felt confident. And then I went and bought that aftermarket choke, and that was the hunt we did on that one where it blew out twice. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, something's wrong here. And I went back. Well, I actually went back and had Talon shoot it again with the improved cylinder back in there, and he shot multiple rounds to it and never came out. So I think I'm going to buy a factory choke and see how that works. And if not, I may be looking for a new shotgun.
We might save that for another podcast, guys. We're at 29 minutes, about to hit the mark. So I know that this was short. Once you do it this short, it goes by really fast. But hopefully we gave you guys information to help you out, give you a couple tips picking out a shotgun. I thank you guys for listening. Stay tuned. We got more, trying to get 2 out a week or so, somewhere in there, for sure 1. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see you on the next one.